Alright, this is attempt number three on this. I talk way too much, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all the information that you're probably wanting to know right up front. So this is my way of speeding along the healing process, the getting rid of pimples process that I've used for about the past, I'd imagine past 10 years. So I'm 25 now, and I found this somewhere on the internet back in high school, probably. So this is the way that I get rid of pimples. Okay, so stay through the entire one for more information, just because I think it's still useful. So what I've used for the longest time is just a combination of baking soda and this is supposed to be water over here. All you do is you're just working to make a paste. Let me try to set up so this I can kind of demonstrate. I know this is not the best quality, but just hold on a second. Okay, so I lowered it a little bit. Again, if you're watching this, you're probably got some access to water. That would be my guess. Baking soda is it's a staple, I feel like, in a lot of households. If you don't have it at home right now, go to your local grocery store, wherever you do your shopping at. Literally, you can find a small box. It doesn't even have to be the Arm & Hammer kind, this fancy name brand, and just get like the store brand for less than $1 or $2, literally. Okay, so for a whole box, and there's so many uses. So I was gonna demonstrate in a bowl, but I might as well just show you the way I've done it for so long. Make sure your hands are clean, because you don't want to be mixing up, bacteria, germs. Because this is my third attempt, I went to the bathroom and washed my hands again. So here we go, clean hands. Literally all I do is I put a bit of, oh my god, that is not a bit, okay? Y'all, this is like a quarter size. You need like a 1/16 of that. So awkward, hold on. That was actually kind of funny. I just dumped it out into this bowl and repoured. So this is significantly smaller. Like the size of your fingernail is probably even too much. It depends on how much you're trying to cover, though. So keep that in mind. So I put it in my palm, and then I pour a little bit of water. There's some water in here, so this is just for demonstration purposes. Obviously, I already put it on my face, so but you just want a little bit of water to pour onto it. So what's important, right, is to get a good consistency. You don't want anything too watery, but nothing too thick. So a nice medium. Swish that around in there. So I would say that this is too much water. Can you see that? Probably not, because water is clear. But if you can see this, it's just like a little puddle in my hand. Okay, it's a little puddle in my hand. And how you can tell if it's not enough is if there are no peaks forming in your paste. Okay, so I'm actually going to slide out some of this and just add more of the baking soda. So just hold on a second. So again, I know this is not the best quality, but it's a good consistency. So if you're running your finger through it, again, clean hands and fingers, and you lift your finger out and it starts to pile up, kind of make like a little mini mountain, if you will. Okay, that's a good consistency. So the reason why you don't want it to be too thin is because it'll slide off and it's not a thick enough layer of baking soda to draw out the like pus and bacteria and whatever, and all that stuff. And if it's too thick, the water can't help to draw it out either. It's too dry, and it's kind of difficult to stick. So that's how you do that. Okay. Hold on just a second. So then all you would have to do, I already wiped my hands, all you would have to do is take your finger and dot it over your zit, your pimple, and make like a little mountain over it, okay? And that's supposed to help draw out like any of the pus, blood maybe a little bit, whatever liquidy type stuff is in there, fluids, it'll help draw it out. So that's that. That's all you wanted to hear. There you go. I will say though, kind of a disclaimer, that I found that this only works, in my experience, with pimples that pop up So like if you're really stressed, or it's almost that time of the month, or if you haven't got enough sleep, this is, I think, a result of being super stressed and not getting enough, or not having a good sleep schedule. This is that. And that's what I've seen work. That's what I have found that this best works for. I have had occasional like cystic pimples before. I find that doesn't work for that, because it's so deep in the skin, and you can't really, I don't know that I've ever had one that you could really, pop open, right? And one more thing before I talk about the popping open of a pimple. I can't speak to whether this will work for like chronic acne or those with consistently all the time, no matter what's happening, kind of skin conditions like that. Sorry to say, because I have not had that and I haven't tried it for that. There have been periods of time where I've had a lot of issues with my chin or across my nose or between the brows and stuff, but nothing where it was like years and years and years and years, you know what I mean? Or whatever it might be, months and months, I don't know. So there's that. Sorry, I can't help with that bit. But for those who have those, like, oh, wow, that is a big, huge pimple that just randomly popped up on my face. Try this out and see if it works. I will also say that this best works. I know people say don't do it, okay? But it works best if your pimple is already exposed. There's a little bit of a tear in there. I don't know how else to call it. To not pop it so you're oozing out the this is kind of gross, but you're here for that stuff, so it's okay. But it's better if your zit is open, is an open wound, basically. The reason why they tell you to not do that is because you could cause scarring and stuff. Just always make sure if you're gonna do it. I mean, I do it. I've tried not doing it, and I'm just not patient enough because nothing would happen, and I would take care of my skin too. Maybe I just wasn't doing it right, but I would eventually end up popping it anyway. Just make sure when you're doing that stuff, make sure your hands are clean. You've washed your hands with soap and water, obviously. So those are my tips. I know this was super simple and I'm like talking forever, but I feel like there's disclaimers all over the place. So this is what's helped me for like the past 10 years, I feel like. Again, it doesn't work all the time. Also, I will say that if you feel like, oh, those times when you're like, oh my god, I feel like a pimple coming on, dot this over it. So say it was this size, make it a little bit, cover a little bit more surface area just to make sure you're really covering your bases. And that has helped to keep the pimple away. It doesn't always help. If it's an aggressive one, it's just going to come out anyway. But it has helped before. So try it out if you're trying to find ways to stop a pimple from forming. Yeah, I'm talking so much because I feel like there's so many disclaimers, but hopefully that helps. Thanks for sticking around, and hopefully this will help you too, like it did for me. I don't know how to end this. I was just talking, and now I'm done. Thanks.